So just gaining that experience, allowing Wonderful to get a little bit more comfortable, and then start to explode come the new year.
All right, well, it's enough talking, Dwayne. It's time to jump into this matchup. Nuke, our first map of the series, is picked by Spirit. As we jump into the pistol round, Vitality will be on that CT side. Julie's bought out by ZywOo. No upgrade pistols for the T half.
Now, we've seen some very good T sides coming through from Spirit over the course of this event so far. It's whether they can get into the action when it matters most. Julie's in for ZywOo towards the top of Hut. It's whether they explode out towards the Squeak door if action is in play.
He is ready to receive them all. 3 players in that squeaky corridor, waiting for that to open up and utilize the flashbangs. The Molotov, they got set up a smoke also in towards Mini. It's ZywOo spamming his way forward, only able to get one. The Molotov damage with the flashbang support gives Siren the kill, and from beyond the smoke, Spinks will also drop up in heaven. dupreeh is suppressed, but Magisk has the close vent corner, gets his double chopper doubles back, and leaves it all on Apex to try and clutch this pistol here. Bombs in the open, can get picked up, and Apex might be left out in the open. Gets Chopper instead to a 1v1 and starts looking for Wonderful. The Wonderful frag that could present himself through the crack angle between the 2 barrels out towards the left-hand side. It's Wonderful with the kill and Spirit with the pistol.
What a statement coming through from Spirit, opening up that Squeak door, coming out and allowing themselves to explode towards the A side. You saw ZywOo to the top of Hut, only getting a 1-for-1. Rotates coming up from heaven very quickly. For Vitality, it seemed like they wanted to pincer through that main smoke. We saw Spinks trying to run through it, teammate behind him as well. And while the trades went back and forth, it eventually slowed down and Wonderful was able to come out on top. Force buy for Vitality, so the pressure's still on.
2 scouts, the Eagles, and a 5-7 in, so a bit of firepower to play with. And Spirit also don't have the best of buys themselves. But still with the 2 rifles, the automatics on Wonderful and Magisk, and of course the bonus they've gained in terms of the pistol scoreline alone. Set with the Molotovs for another upper execution, it seems.
And Vitality, all about the initial defense. Util coming out, the Xy's coming.
No flashbang's going to connect to anybody. Siren does find Spinks anyway. dupreeh gets caught up in the middle of the smoke and the blind flashbang, leaving Chopper a pretty easy frag to fire with the MAC-10. A 5-on-3 is gained, and the bomb gets planted easy.
That's a safe call pretty quickly. That's always the factor when you play on Nuke, especially on these force buy situations. If you can't deny that upper execution, especially on a rush, and you're not getting those trades back, just allow the weapons to get saved. Bring those double scouts, the Deagle into the next round. Use it as a light eco. Even got a boost up towards heaven. Maybe Spirit looking to try and get more economical damage out of this round.
They do lose 1 player for it. That's a Galil dropping there for Spirit, and that might be valuable at this early stage of the game. Rebuy forced out on 1 individual. Of course, the Kevlar also staying in for the Vitality squad. So a bit more of a bonus surrounding this eco, as dupreeh and Spinks should not be buying down at all, leaving it for the USPs around the Deagle and Scouts. And the 2-0 comes the way of Spirit. Nice solid start here from the T side.
A bit of a fun fact as well. It's been 380 days since Vitality last played Spirit. In fact, it was a group stage game in EPL Season 14 where Vitality won 2-1. At the time, Vitality was still a full French lineup with Shox, Masuta and Kyojin, and Spirit still had Mir, SDY and Dexter on the lineup.
So radically different from today.
Definitely so.
Of course, the way things are working out for Vitality, a radically awkward start for this CT half of things. Of course, pistols and all, so you can kind of give a little bit of forgiveness in that sort of sense. And again, they can pass off those upgrade pistols that ZywOo and Apex had to relieve the USP potential. Not a massive amount of investment here for the 3rd round. Small tech pause as well before we go any further. So a bit of time for Vitality to bide their time at this moment. And a little bit of a think. Not necessarily a discussion, of course, on land, but, you know, just a moment to let the start of the matchup simmer, because it's been so far so good for Spirit.
Just to entertain the conversation about Wonderful as well. Debuted, obviously, for Spirit, IM Cologne. So far, only played 21 maps. I mean, that's a very small sample size, and that comes down to the basis of Spirit not really playing many events. They've had Cologne, they've had Pro League, and out of the majority of Tier 1 teams, they're actually down at the bottom for the least amount of maps played in the last 3 months.
Look, they've had their moments here and there, just knowing that they've basically only really been competing in just a handful of ESL Pro Tour events and other sort of online tournaments here and there whenever they get the chance to. They're in this weird sort of border spot where they aren't playing as heavily or as frequently as a Tier 2 squad, but they aren't playing within the big boy leagues all that often. In fact, they're only really here because of their ranking in the ESL World Rankings. Didn't make it here through conference. Of course, they're not a partner team. So for Spirit, they're kind of resting on the whims of them just maintaining this position. And if they make it to playoffs, then sure, it probably does guarantee them at least another season, maybe a few more invites to IEMs and such. But here and now, got a lot of work to do if they want to try and maintain their position. Vitality, again, will have those pistols passed off to Spinks and dupreeh. And the 3 MAC-10s will be in play for the T side.
No, we didn't even see Spirit in the last EPL, knowing the fact that they didn't have a strong enough world ranking. Didn't see them in Season 13 either. So just a couple of glimpses here or there from the Spirit side. Out on this anti-eco, we might not see a massive amount because the rush is coming in and the vent drop is out.
And wasting no time for 3 players to attempt the vent dive. 2 will be successful, but Magic's lesser so. Magisk gets the kill instead for the Vitality side. The bomb does go down extremely quickly, though.
Apex is being pushed across right in front of him, and even Patsy is just pulling distraction outside, being able just to waste as much time as possible. Paddy might fall, though.
That's a double instead. Apex down, a scout's watching, but the smoke in allows Patsy to extend out towards the left-hand doorway. And Siren also to continue the flank here with the AK. ZywOo still lands a flick with that scout, but ultimately the firepower and rapid fire of Siren is able to get the double and leave Magisk alone in the 1 versus 4. Executed by Patsy Scout, who makes it a triple to close. And a 3-0 start for Spirit. Now converting into the rifles here. Vitality will be on the 4-buy.
It just felt as if there was a slight opener in that round, the Deagle spam into the vent dropper to allow the opening man advantage to get gained there by the City side. But how quickly Spirit were able to gain that lower control, leave a lurk outside, leave a lurk top lobby, and then of course just crunch down towards that top of ramp position, really make it uncomfortable there for Vitality. M4's across the board, no AWP just yet. I like the way that the MAC-10s are continuing to stay in play.
And get the value out of those guns, because there are 2 players without helmets, so it makes a lot of sense here, and they can probably read onto that part. Either way, loads of cash available for Spirit, so they can bolster up their buy in the next round as well. Flashes and smokes, another upper execution. Vitality having dupreeh up in the rafters, going completely unaccounted for. Gets a kill, tries to double up. Magisk providing support, can only last for so long, and his teammate out towards the open vent isn't even required. dupreeh's USP does most of the damage, but Spinks does find his double, and Vitality will get there first.
A little bit disappointing that that wasn't cleared, right? You didn't have the molly towards the top of Mustang. You had the perfect flashes. dupreeh was trying to look out towards the wall, play anti-flash the best that he could, but even the double entry players coming out of that top hut position did not clear dupreeh. And anytime you get stuck up into that position without being cleared, as soon as those flashes start to fade, that's when you can come into the action, set up that crossfire, and Vitality have a very strong defensive hold on A.
Even those automatics in as a result. Spirit, however, can bolster back up to the AWP. A lot of MAC-10 frags came in the previous. So a lot of cash available again for this T-half to work with. So rifles out for both sides once again.
For the silo, Magic's thinking about working forward. Continuous spam bullets, trying to connect out from that squeak door position. Even outside, you've got ZywOo playing down on Secret. Patsy's going to have to be aware of this.
They might not have the info to their damage, but they have tagged Magic's to less than half. Patsy with the walkout, evading the pre-fire positions. The timing's perfect. But it doesn't lead to much here. This default is so passive from Spirit.
And when you compare that to the last few rounds, all we've had is topside Xyz. Very quick on the rushes from Spirit. Haven't had ramp control being taken, really. Haven't had a massive amount of outside presence. Apex with a slight off angle, not overexposing himself at all. And for Spirit, they do really run the clock.
Contrasting as well with how quiet this has been on Spirit to how aggressive Vitality have started to take this. Not like they're forcing forward, but look at Spinks here in the hot position. The nade placed perfectly. That's a lot of damage done to 3. Magic's now down to 15 points of health to combine with all the tags up past the smoke in its squeaky door. Now Apex will start to run his way back into the B site, stalling for even more time as Patsy tries to attack in from Secret. ZywOo sees the head, struggles with the spray, but comes together with the kill in the end. Now focusing on the re-entries from Spirit, who continue to get suppressed, thinking they might have gone towards hell, but with the time being so low, with no presence on the bomb sites, they're going to go for a 4-man save here.
It's not often that you see this. Even Spinks might think about a slight aggressive move once that time runs out. See if he can drop anyone after the clock expires. A second round up for Vitality. And he just felt there for Spirit. Obviously, they had the late lurk outside. They had Patsy going down from Secret. They pushed Apex off of ramp. But you've got to consider the context. That HE damage that came through. That opening spam out from Squeak Door. And then as soon as Patsy falls and doesn't really have enough to pull distraction or at least find an entry from Secret, the ramp players are stuck. They know that Apex has dropped down, so there's 2 at lower. They just end up saving.
Just took too long and weren't as quick as they should have been. The end result here is at least another rebuy, of course. They do lose the second round to Vitality. We're starting to catch up to the leaders already. Damage again being done past the smokes. The Molotovs coming in. Wide gaps to work with past the red box cross. But the CTs aren't challenging either. Going towards Garage instead, as there is a bit of an angle to play with, and Majors might get caught off guard, relying heavily on ZywOo to provide that extra support. The flashbangs certainly are keeping them at bay. Spirit about to reveal themselves here to the outer yard challenge, and even further insertion from the CT forces, but Magisk is going to get caught off guard.
A matter of timing. ZywOo just couldn't peek towards that Locker's position being smoked off. Might be there for a trade frag, but it's still a man advantage, and so much outside control gained here from Spirit.
ZywOo's still playing Overwatch here, and he might find a dry face in from Magisk. Perfect timing to look back there, double up. The 3-on-3 regained by Vitality.
It get a little bit stagnant here for Spirit. You're not working with the advantage anymore. You've got a late lurk in lobby. You've got a couple of players out in garage. And for Vitality, this is where they can get comfortable. Just allow themselves to play passively on the site. You've got 2 players down to lower, both ZywOo and Apex, meaning that Spinx is the only defender towards A right now.
Once again, Spirit go back to this passive default that we saw in the previous round. Didn't work for them, but at least Siren has forced out a decent kill. Spinx caught off guard, and now both players are on lower here for Vitality. Spirit looking for the split play into A, and there's really no real rotation in denial positions. They might have to go for a retake or a save here.
Now, retake seems likely with the money state, right? You've got quite a lot in the savings, at least to throw yourself in for it and see if it presents anything. Patsy slow walking around the corner just to make sure the site is clear. Vitality gambling slightly more towards that lower bomb site. It doesn't quite come through.
Yeah, going to opt for the save call, it looks like, for Vitality. They're being extremely slow about these rotations. They can catch Spirit if they go for a hunt after time, but nothing major to watch out for here. They'll just keep their weapons in check. The Spirit will extend their lead to 2 rounds once again. By virtue, really, of only 1 frag, again, the slow pacing from Spirit was being exploited by Vitality there, especially with ZywOo, I should say, with his 2 kills towards outside.
It gave that round a possibility. You think about Spirit and how much they gained towards outside, putting pressure down towards Credit Card, out in garage, smoke down towards the Locker's entrance. Vitality on the back foot here on the CT side. Now, Nuke for them has been able to present itself in the average pool, I would say, in the last 3 months. 5 wins, 4 losses. A round win percentage of 53.5 when it comes to their CT. Try and see if they can really bolster up and hit hard when it comes to the economy situation for Spirit. A 4-2 and a tactical timeout. The first one here.
Right time to do so, because you mentioned how the map has been played quite a number of times with Vitality. You've got to take a look at how it's played out so far this week as well. Remember, one of those losses was against Fnatic at that 16-6. So it can sometimes be not the best map for Vitality, especially considering this is one of those results with the newer lineup. Spirit, again, knowing they have a bit more of a basis in terms of their picks. This could be their main chance to get back into this series in general, I should say. Just dish out the damage, make it work for them. Vitality will contest, of course. Guns out, both sides up for the buy, and my money's been pretty stabilized so far. Those 2 safe weapons. It definitely aids the CT forces more so than hinders them. Spirit again towards the lobby and outside defaults, looking for the upper execution again, and very quickly so. dupreeh having to tuck his head away from the fire, but getting Patsy out in the open. 1 kill found, has got virtually no more support, but Spinx comes in from heaven, provides that. dupreeh doubles up, flies past Magisk, but Magisk gets the kill instead. It's all on Siren in the 1 versus 4 here to try clutch it for Spirit. He struggles with all of his sprays, and the Dane gets a 2k to make it 3. Very quick execution, shut down by Vitality.
Yeah, very interesting that there's no top hut molly in that sort of stance. You have the explosion out of Squeak Door, the flashes raining in, dupreeh having a very difficult time in the early stages of that round, but as soon as he's not burning and the flash starts to clear, that's where Spinx from outside of the main smoke can start spamming in. You get some assistance from Magisk playing around that closed vent position, and Spirit finding it difficult to open up that bomb site with the early trades, and because they weren't able to get a bomb plant in there, there is no buy to present itself.
Down a straight Glocks and a Deagle. Not the best outlook for Spirit. And then on a bomb plant, maybe it could have been more justifiable to force the issue, but just how confident that was from Vitality, showing the caliber that this squad can have at times. The Spirit resting on slow and sneaky plays. Magic's in particular, down through vent already, and dupreeh, I don't think he has an inkling to this. He's checking out the squeaky door. He might even head downstairs and everything here.
Hey, you mentioned the result against Fnatic, 6-16, 0 rounds up on the T side. And against NIP as well, they had a 12-3 half on their CT basis and struggled to close it out. So we need a strong lead here for Vitality if they really want to try and hit home with the 2-0, because the T side is where we'll see some more problems.
This will seem to be a freebie here. Magix has been dealt with down towards Secret, and Magus gets a 3k once again. dupreeh up against Patsy, and now leaves it all on Siren in the 1 versus 5. Not a lick of damage done here to the Vitality squad. So yeah, 3-round, 4-roll. Spirit up for the bye. Trying to reinsert themselves, and at the end of the day, like, it's the point you mentioned right there. We need a strong CT half and Vitality. If they don't get that, if Spirit even make it close, then that might just be enough.
And we haven't even seen much of the beast of ZywOo just yet. 10 maps, almost a 260 rounds played so far here in the group. Positive 85 KD difference and averaging a 1.41 rating in every map played so far. The highest rated player in Group A.
AWP set in for ZywOo this time towards the indoors. Patsy towards the outdoors, however. Gets his Danish teammate. Magiska down already. They're thinking of going downstairs through the vents control. In fact, they've got Secret position here for Spirit, so it makes sense of Vitality.
It's how quickly they get players towards that lower bomb site. We know in certain situations, the last couple of rounds, we've seen both ZywOo and Apex being those players down to lower. As of right now, it's just the IGL from Apex playing very passive up towards the observation window.
Here the Molotovs coming in, which will indicate what Spirit are going to be doing here. Backup will start to make its way in. ZywOo there with the AWP. Watching and waiting. Eyes set past the vent entrance. Sees one player jumping. Sees one player crossing. Brings it back to a 4-on-4. No one has checked the observation window. Siren with his back turn at Apex will get killed off for it. Advantage tips the favor of the CTs, but only for so long. Magic with a kill. ZywOo and Apex with 2 more. Dropping the bomb and leaving Chopper alone in the 1 versus 3. At least gets that first. 2 more to find.
Got time to play with, needs to really fight one of those rotates if he wants to give himself a chance at this. Even getting back to the double doors to get that bomb control, you've got a teammate, a Spinx there, ready for it.
As I set in the vents, Chopper, what's he going to do here? Go back into the B site for the easy plant, try rotate back up through the vents and challenge onto Spinx immediately. He'll be at point blank range here. Oh, and the incendiary's pulled out. Spinx fires away, gets the kill for it. The only mistake that Chopper made in that particular play. Ultimately leading to Vitality's 5th round. Their lead above the Spirit squad.
A very unorthodox setup going down to that lower bomb site. You've got ZywOo in for the vent in a very tight angle to be able to hit that shot on the run out towards double doors. But what I love there, he takes the shot, goes right back up the vents, allows himself to hold on to that. And then even Apex, how can you pre-aim that sort of position? An off angle, deep in observation window, especially once you've just taken a death from ZywOo.
Vitality establishing themselves in this matchup as a result of that previous round. Spirit knocked back to pistols for another eco. Upgrades, admittedly. And stacks in against the AWP's position. Might force ZywOo to make a mistake or just otherwise challenge him with a sheer legion of force. But those 2 kills come out from that AWP, and Chopper and Wonderful not feeling so wonderful after that particular play. ZywOo's even dipping in for a little bit more here. These are anti-eco frags, and finally he'll pay for it. Patsy with 1 on the turn. 2 on the turn, in fact. 3v3.
Oh, this is getting expensive, and even Apex peeking up towards the top of ramp. At least that gives them a little bit more information. The bomb gets dropped. Spirit have to fight back for it just in case Apex is still aggressive. But Vitality have got to be thinking to themselves, how can we play this safe, but at the same time put pressure on? They don't really want to take any more deaths in this situation. Otherwise, they're just really spitballing with their economy, and it will start going down the drain.
Well, Spirit will recover those 2 rifles and now have a bit more firepower to play with. So it's possible they could find the right jewels at the right times. They can do even more damage to Vitality. You mentioned it being an expensive round, losing the AWP. Even more so. M4 burst and spray through from Apex. Struggles against Magix. Siren will also take damage. Neither player is dead, but both individuals are known. The USP is pulled out to try to finish the job that you started. Indeed, Siren will drop, and Magix's best bet is to go for the bomb plant, if you can even get it at that. The other 2 CTs have readjusted, so it shouldn't be much more coming out from him. He'll fight on because he doesn't have a choice here. And does get dupreeh with a pretty sick shot. Now to rotate into the A site. He might still secure a plant towards back here. They are going to be very quick to the rotates, though.
Hey, he should be able to get this. This is actually looking like a fantastic eco.
Oh, a bit close to Spinx. He doesn't peek fast enough, though, and he will go down in the end. But you're right. Pistols upgrades brought out pretty effectively for the Spirit side, getting 3 casualties against Vitality and a bomb plant bonus for the buy-up. So yeah, you can't complain about it too much.
Not at all. And now for Spirit, they've really got to focus in on being able to do more. Yes, they've set themselves up. They've had a very good eco. It's allowed damage to really hit home with the economy. But what is the follow-up? How can they address that into a reset? Well, it's being able to perform on a rifle round. You've still got quite a lot of money in the bank when it comes to ZywOo, when it comes to Spinks, when it comes to Apex. So for Spirit, they do need a couple of rifle rounds in a row.
2 rounds up for Vitality. Have taken a while to get going in this series, but now they are here. Standing with the AWP in ZywOo's hands up against Wonderful. Patsy towards outside will be his first port of call. Smokes in a little bit late, though. Patsy peeks ahead of it, losing his head. Second player looking to go down top of Silo, but Chopper has to jump on Magix. So a 4-on-4 scenario.
Outside contention is where Spirit have tried a lot of their early round plays. They not quite deep enough. A couple of players behind this smoke. ZywOo's looking for another pick.
And he's going to get it as well. Magix goes down. 4v3. And even further aggression comes out from Vitality here at Heart. Wonderful. Dead to rights and lobby. This is all falling apart for Spirit. And this is one of those much more slower rounds where at least they have the man advantage at the start. Even if things falls apart for the execution. It's fallen apart before the Xe this time.
So much proactivity in that round. You see Vitality fighting towards outside. They bring ZywOo back over towards ramp. He's able to find an impactful shot. And then as soon as that comes through, look at what happens elsewhere. dupreeh getting aggressive in from main towards that hut control. And I think it just shows for Vitality how they can put pressure on so many different spots of the map at the same time.
Apex Incendiary's out. M4 trying to swing in. Just towards Chopper. Gets him. Siren sounding the alarm because he's in a clutch scenario, which is very unwinnable from here on out. Flashes in against him. 30 seconds. At least he has the bomb on his back. So in theory, there's a way you could win a fight and then get back into the A site here. Does find Apex a quick 180 turnaround. Wary about this flick and he won't connect it in the end. So there you go. 7 on the board. Vitality 1 away from taking the half. A tactical has been called out. The first one from Spirit this time.
It's concerning with the numbers, let alone here for Spirit. You think about someone like Magix, currently the 4th highest rated player in the event. Positive 40 KD difference, averaging a 1.19 rating so far in Group A. And we haven't really seen the impact that he can bring out on that T side, being relentless with the trades, allowing himself to be such an impactful rifler. Wonderful's had the AWP in his hands quite a bit, but when you think about the AWP impact, it's definitely been a lot higher on the CT side of things for ZywOo. And for Vitality, this streak is just building round after round after round. It really felt like for Spirit, they gained a very early foothold on this T side. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, okay, maybe it's going to be 7, 8 sort of rounds on T. I don't even know if that's really likely at this point. Because you've got to remember, it was 4-2.
In condition you said for Vitality earlier on, the fact that if they're able to maintain a decent CT half, and that could still lead us to a victory for them. If they can make it strong, then it means it even better. And 11-4 seems relatively likely here. Spirit only need 1 round to break that and make it look a little bit less one-sided. But you're right, 4-2 was the last lead that Spirit had had. Since then, it's been 5 on the trot for Vitality here. Can maintain this streak, then they can dominate, especially with a broken buy for Spirit. Only 1 player lacking in the rifle department. That's Wonderful on the Deagle.
ZywOo being able to bring that AWP towards outside, then rotate it back to the heaven position. You can see Magix out Garage spamming behind a lot of those smokes. But for Spirit, there's not a massive amount of map control being taken. It actually is a fake towards the top side Xe.
Good smoke on Spinks, going to draw their attention into the top of the hut position. Magix gets the kill on ZywOo. dupreeh locks out the spray, but gets nothing for it. It's all on Spinks now up in the rafters, lining up 2, turning around for the triple and even the quadra for that matter. All players wrecked for Spirit, and he's on for the ace. USP pulled out. Magix on 40 HP. It's not impossible. Spinks just needs that 1 good shot, but so does the T-side member. 2K for Magix, but a bomb out in the open and 2 more to get.
So difficult here. You're working with 30-odd seconds left on the clock. The bomb's dropped in the middle. You don't have any util to work with. You're already down at 40 points of health. He's just trying to isolate. Try and see if you could draw 1v1s in this situation.
Looking the backside, top of the rafters. Slow walking in. 20 seconds. No one's moving. No one's making any noise, giving anything up to Magix. In theory, you could get the bomb plant here. It's the retake that becomes the concern from then.
It's looking up towards that.
That's it. Positional with noise, distractions. He might be able to get the kill against Magix, but even that's not going to happen. At least Magix dies after time. I think he's got just enough cash in the bank to hold it together. But that is the half gained by Vitality right there.
What a play this is. That's absolute quality coming through from Spinks. The fact that he's there by himself, being swung by multiple units at the same time, and just delivers. Just has the spray transfer, the committance to find all four, and that's so frustrating because Spirit did so much right on that initial side take, they just couldn't deal with Spinks.
When it felt like Spirit were going to take control, those first 2 kills worked so well for their team play. And once again, they're back to pistols, not even a bomb plant bolster. Maybe if he stuck it, there would have been a bit of a better basis for the team overall, but Magic's attempting that clutch has left them with, once again, Tech 9 upgrades for round 13. Maybe even upgrade pistols for round 15 if the next rifle goes wrong for them. Patsy next dead to the hands of Spinks. This one just continues to fall apart piece by piece for Spirit. Apex might get pressured by the speed. Even then, they're not going to press the issue too far forward. They've been suppressed by ZywOo's presence. They don't want to peek that up.
Even Spirit don't know if lobby's been taken. Was there a counteraction with the ramp take that perhaps Dupree's gone quite aggressive? You know, Spinks is a top side player as well. Has he gone out of the squeak door towards that hut control? And even committing towards A, you've got a smoke and a couple of flashes. It's going to be fairly dry.
Take the fight on Spinks, at least win it out. Dupree, top of hut. Gets his kill and does lose his life, so a couple good trades and a bomb plant eventually coming down from heaven.
They've got plenty of time to work with this. Kit's in play, get that paint cone smoke down from ZywOo. Everybody else could just come to heaven, come as a complete unit.
And take their time with it, though. They are going to run this clock a little bit low. Paint can smoke does come down. Apex watching, teammates dropping in. Scopes will be heard of the AWP. Wonderful's going for a big old backstab. Siren's attention here is going to be to turn their attention away from the position. Kill found. ZywOo thinks there might be something up. Slow walk-ins. P250 spams his way through. Got to get to Magix real quick and can't quite get Apex. It was a little bit too late. And once again, it will be a round of Vitality. Again, with the pistols, you can be kind of happy with how things have gone for Spirit, but damage at this late stage in the half is only going to mean so much.
I was going to say, the only impact that Nico is going to find at this sort of state is around victory, because you're not going to be able to get enough out of a Nico for an economy reset like this, when you've had so many rounds in a row for Vitality. And I don't know about you, Jay, but do you think it's a little bit of a scary factor for the series to continue on, not just in this map, that for the last handful of rounds, the ecos have looked more deadly than the rifle rounds for Spirit?
In theory, yes. Whether in practice it does work out that way, I'm not certain. Like, it is more of a case that Spirit have a bit more damage that they can utilize. And if they can convert that, then maybe it could be something that could lead to their benefit. But like you said before, not much economical reset coming in from Spirit so far. The guns are at least back out, and the eco does yield a bonus cash for the investments. So the AKs are out, the AWP's in. No expense spared. Vitality have still got plenty in the back pockets. They don't want to utilize that for round 15. For now, it's the defaults again, set in just towards the top of silo for Patsy. Everybody else in lobby.
Could be another one of these top side plays. That's where they found so much success in the early portion of the half. Early nades out from the squeak door. HE back. Dupree with the spams out in squeak door. Magic's down to 57.
And one nade from the backside did so much more than the two in from Squeaky, and the sprays from Magix again doing so much through the smoke. Completely blind, doesn't know the damage he's done to Wonderful. But it's done here. 25 HP on the AWP.
Even ZywOo's playing towards outside in secret, not really seeing much. You got some contention of smokes, but still not a massive amount of presence. Patsy going to clear out this Africa position. Further spams from Magis too. Still could lean towards a ramp take or a topside XE.
And there's ZywOo with the opening frag of the round, just past the minute marker. Patsy is down, and Magis just lines up to Chopper can trade, but Spinks has got him marked off. Continuous sprays come back, 13 HP for that one man. Siren at 93 is once again left in this scenario where you might have to clutch it, or at least do the heavy lifting from here on out. Either way, the outlook does not look good here for Spirit.
This round streak is just really spiraling up. You've even got Apex getting aggressive for an info play, getting right up there towards that trophy position. Another save call for Spirit seems to be on the cards. And that's the last thing you want to be doing on the T side of Nuke.
It could have worked in the previous round where they had 4 players alive, with 2 alive though. No cash flowing in for Siren or Chopper, but at the same time, you've got to think about the options that they've got at this moment. 2v4 with 1 player being such low HP. That's borderline impossible. Realistically, yeah, it's not going to happen. 10 to the board. Vitality have not lost a round in the last 8. They have been stellar since Spirit had their initial starts. And it's continued to work time and time again.
That's an outclassing right now. A very underwhelming T-side here from Spirit. And I do wonder, where is the pace? I think back to those early 3-4 rounds we had in the half. It was fast, it was electric, it was out of the gate with those MAC-10s. I'm not saying that they should use these MAC-10s on the rifle rounds, but it feels like the acceleration has just disappeared.
And that fast pace really caught Vitality off, getting in their faces and all. Dupree, nice pulled out, trying to get into Vent. Heard the player dropping down, but Siren gets that pick. So a small start for Spirit once again. They're downstairs and they have the man advantage.
And there we go. That's that electric pace that we're looking for. A little bit manic, a little bit crazy, and it comes out with an opening man advantage. Spams towards outside, indicate a quick play. They're not being silent about it. So the CTs can adjust themselves here at lower, and Apex is here to defend. 1
point of health for Patsy, though. That spray again. Blind as bats, but Vitality are finding them. Chopper leading the charge with his teammates. I was expecting there to be some sort of window room control. Apex in for a rude awakening as soon as he hears that squeaky door open up, though.
It's all a matter of timing. Need to get the util down pat and put some pressure onto ZywOo on the site take.
Patsy's ready with util. He'll be the easy player to take down for Apex. Playing off position anchor, though. He has an inkling what might end up happening here. Door open, player seen, wrap the corner, get the kills. Siren not going to provide the next kill backside. Might stop that bomb plant for now.
It's all a matter of timing. Chopper might think about getting slightly aggressive towards that right-hand side. Put some pressure on the M4 as it runs out into the open. This surely is a fifth now for Spirit.
As Magisk falls, Magic steps up the flank and Spink goes down. It's onto the A site, a quick wraparound up through the vents. And ZywOo left alone to try and clutch it all. What would be a special clutch if he can pull it off. But Sunning tells me that's not going to happen here. 2 incendiaries up to Heaven, reducing his options to try and play towards the outside. Good shot on Chopper, looks pretty sick. Now back into the AWP on the other side, however, Patsy has him locked out and will make it a fifth to break the streak and make it at least a consolation as we head into the second half after the break.
No glory, not a part of my story. I'm going hard for that trophy. It's why they all been on me. No guts, no glory. There's no.
Coming into today, Chopper was the 5th lowest rated player in this entire event, Jay. He is top fragging for his side, which may not be the best of signs. We need to get more out of Spirit. We saw their CT sides with success against NIP and against Fnatic, but they've got to prove it here in the second half.
We talked about those elements to watch out for a little bit earlier on, so keep your eyes on them to try and make the difference as we switch over to the T half of Vitality. You said before the break, Dwayne, that they need to get a good CT half in. As the question now turns to, have they done enough? 5 rounds to separate. Spirit on that pistol basis will hold fire and wait for Vitality to push the issue.
This could be the test right here. Magisk out towards that ramp control, gets the early info, but it's whether Vitality commit, because they're actually going back towards lobby. They're trying to scramble the rotations on this one.
Made some noise out to that ramp push. Patsy is going to get forced back. The USP hearing footsteps, but unable to really account for where they're coming in from. One player towards outside might be a bit of a concern, but it's all another ruse here. Vitality going right back into ramp.
It's very gimmicky right here for Vitality. They want to make it uncomfortable for the CTs. They want to try and force them to make some info plays, but they're not taking ramp with noise. Instead, they're walking. They're trying to gain some of this hell control.
A couple of footsteps can be heard. I reckon those are Spirits, though. Now they engage for realsies out towards Hell position. It's Apex blinding Magisk, kicking things off on the half on the right foot. Wonderful, however, gets a kill. Can't double up. ZywOo and dupreeh just back in control. Patsy's doing everything he can to defend Mini. Gets that first alongside Siren. The crossfire's locked. dupreeh and Apex are down. And
when everything was looking so good, they'd be able to fight the rotations. They give themselves a 4v2, but it's that crossfire, and now Magisk has to step up.
The Condor's the big concern. Back's turned towards it. A man's walked out. That's Patsy. Side turn. Glock can't land the headshot. He gets it together in the end and turns 180 where Siren is there to get his triple and get the pistol for Spirit.
You've got to imagine a force up here for Vitality. 4 kills and a bomb plant. They'll be disappointed in that. When you think about the idea of the gimmicky nature, forcing over rotates, making it uncomfortable for the info play, they start gaining some of that hell control. They force themselves in a 4v2 situation, and maybe it's just a little bit too quick. They didn't need that explosion straight away. As soon as they dive down from heaven, there's a player on the bomb site, there's a player out towards main, and that's where Spirit really get comfortable. The factor here you've got to remember, 6 rounds of Spirit, 2 for 2 in pistols. It's whether they can push more, especially when the rifle rounds are involved.
Guns out in full force for both sides, and every penny they can justify to spend has been spent. Hundreds of dollars in savings at best. Vitality looking to force the issue against Spirit, shut down that early pistol victory and deny a conversion.
And ZywOo getting the AK in his hands as quickly as possible, putting on a bit of a masterclass in that first half. And we know he's been able to find a lot of recent form in the last couple of events that Spinx has been a part of. And right here in the group, he has been deadly. And knowing that now this is the force buy to work with, locker smoke towards outside, they can start putting some further pressure down.
Good nades in from Patsy, evaded there by the Vitality side. Had they pushed forward, though, you could have seen from that X-ray where it had landed. That could have been, again, a lot of damage being done by the utility here, and it's generally been pretty good utility damage across the board. For Spirit, though, not in this round. They've allowed the Vitality camp to cross out towards Secret. 3 players are now downstairs.
You've got to think that Spirit have got a pretty good idea about this. They've actually aggressed lobby, so Chopper has seen nothing towards that area of the map. dupreeh's the late lurk towards Garage outside. It's a slight dual peek from City Spawn, but no! It looked like Patsy had an easy fight there!
alone on the B. Sires back up close towards him. He might have a lot of pressure against his name. Needs to get at least 1 kill, maybe even 2 to try and hold this round together. The time is running short. Eventually they get those wall bangs and Wonderful gets caught off by Spinks. Chopper on the wraparound sees where Apex is. His backup of Siren is right behind him, but it's the 2 SMGs versus the 4 rifles from Vitality. 2 players isolated by Siren though. He's brought it back to a 2v2.
Didn't look doable at all. Thought we'd see the initial save, but ZywOo's still alive and he's on 100 points of health. This is where he could be class in the post plant.
The Pre's also on a very awkward off angle. Siren might not account for this. Yes, he does. Brings it all on ZywOo now to clutch this round. Back sight, ready and watching. Bomb plant position, both players heard. Kill found against Chopper. Last man wrapped around the corner at the same time, and he pre-fires it. He adjusted a headshot, makes it a triple, and barely scrapes together the round for Vitality.
He makes that look so easy as well. And you've got to feel for Siren. You're in a 2v4. That looks completely unwinnable. He starts creating a little bit of magic. He comes down towards that secret door. He's able to find so much more out of Decon. And then, okay, you start getting some workability. You go back up to the bench. And that's the worst outcome in the world for Spirit. You win the pistol, you get a kickstart the second half, and then immediately you lose the anti-force buy.
Force buy back on the Spirit squad. FAMAS 357's a Deagle. A quick exit seeming to come in from Vitality here. Smokes and Molotovs down. Magic's top of the position alongside Patsy, getting a couple of kills at least, but Patsy will also drop Chopper center of the site. In the rafters, Magics will still watch out, and those 2 kills on the trade have at least brought it back to a manageable position and forced Vitality to fall back here.
They've got plenty of time to work with. They've still got a little bit of nades for Magics too. You start thinking about what your options are. Apex with the spam getting close to Chopper's position. Want to try and bait a mistake, and that could have been the right one. Oh, almost falling down to 32 now.
Heavy damage done. Vitality start pressing back into advanced positions as Spirit actually start pressing the issue of their own. Chopper leaning into lobby, seeing nothing. This could be a flank, especially now with Wonderful taking Mantle up in heaven, but not in hell. They're allowed to dive right back into the B site.
And the problem is, yeah, they gather the information that lobby's clear, but it's how quickly the T's get down to that lower bomb side. And I think Magics could be really important towards this double doors, especially with a MAC-10 in that sort of range.
And they acted a bit quicker than maybe it could have worked out. But as it stands, 3v3 retake and 2 MAC-10s to work with. Flashes in. Magix will lean forward against Magisk, who gets Wonderful and Magix in the end, leaving only Chopper alone in the 1 versus 3. So surely should not have much in this one. Force buy attempted and lost effectively. Vitality are on the hype train and they're riding right into victory on map 1.
This is almost a position where you don't want to be saving, but you got to be clever about it. 1v3 is just not going to be happening. But realistically, I think you got to say goodbye to Nuke and look at the second map of the series of Vertigo, because you do have to be real here. This is an important series for Spirit to come out top. We look at their nukes. We've seen the fact of some of the success that they've had in the group so far, the good win against NIP, the strong setup on CT side against Fnatic as well. And you just start thinking you'd need more. And knowing that you didn't really get enough in the first half, you win the pistol and then you lose the next 2. You're going to have to eco here. You're down 6-13. Vitality could just cruise their way to 16 rounds.
I think as well, we're talking about the idea this might be a 3-map affair. Spirit. The 1 map we gave them credit to take in this series, and it might fall out of favor so quick. The fact that you're talking about just leaving it and going towards map 2 and putting your minds in map 2 is concerning. Vitality in full control at this juncture. Nuke seeing only pistols from the CT side, bar that MAC-10 that was saved from the previous. But it's a far cry compared to the T setup.
Even the kill distribution, everyone's on double digits here for the Vitality team. You've only got a couple on Spirit that have reached that marker. Chopper hasn't been able to find a single kill in the second half just yet. Apex getting the deep map control towards outside. Might not even be checked towards heaven. You've got Wonderful just down low, but no one watching out for this play.
There's the 2 MAC-10 striking. AK getting its own piece of the pie. ZywOo doubles up, in fact. Magix sees Magisk and Spinks, so now has the info that they're all on the A site and just won't even bother challenging it. Personally, I'd like to see the USP try force forward and get some damage on somebody, but you also run the risk of giving up money to the MAC-10s.
Exactly.
So it's a bit of a game of give and take and what your philosophy is. Either way, it's not going to be around for Spirit.
And knowing that even the next rifle round, they're not going to be able to get an AWP out in the hands of Wonderful, it's going to be difficult to be able to dictate any early success. ZywOo, 22-7. And this is where you kind of have to be real with yourself to know that, okay, you think about Vitality a few months ago, definitely beatable. We've seen it in some of the other events like Cologne. But since they've brought Spinx into the fold, we know how strong him and ZywOo have been. And when you've got a ZywOo that's putting as much of a show up as possible, he's a guy that could just win you math.
Indeed, ZywOo certainly is doing that right now. It's not been without support. You can see the other players have been keeping Spirit held down. Several individuals have really yet to get off the ground here. Wonderful, Patsy, Magic Sword just on low points of kill counts, and Siren trying to increase that marker as he gets his own kill. Chopper with 2 though, holds the line on the center of the site. Apex brings it back to a 3-on-2 scenario. Spirit still up by 1 player, but they have conceded that B-bomb site, and ZywOo is well on his way in.
And this is still very winnable here for Vitality. Been able to gain that ramp control, get ZywOo very quick out towards those double doors, deal with those rotates, have to slow it down for Spirit. And now 2v3, you think about what the Frenchman can do.
A great Molotov to try and stop any early contact from the double doors position. Spirit will try and go there a little bit late. Will rest on Apex on the center of the site to try and deal with them, and ZywOo. Open bomb plant. It is kind of held off for Old Toxic, so it doesn't make it the easiest affair for that ramp position. But here come 2 CTs, wrap the corner. ZywOo gets them both. The perfect spray. Back to a 1-on-1. Engages against Wonderful and wins another triple. Another multi-frag to bring him to 25 kills in this map up. It's 14-6 for Vitality.
That's another class round coming through from ZywOo. You see the way that Apex is playing a 1 for done. Out towards the off angle from the double doors. You swing on the contact. ZywOo comes out in the open from that right-hand side of ramp. Allows himself a couple of kills. Takes a slight engagement onto the third. The flash pops out in the open. The CT turns. And that is where the absolute control can come through from Vitality. 2 more rounds to gain. And for Spirit, they're not even forcing it up. They want to play for OT.
Pistols on a half buy. Look at Apex already inserted behind the initial smokes, put down with the CT forces. The cross locked out by the T-smokes. He's hunting for Patsy up at close quarters positions. The rest of the teams will look towards that secret position. Apex. Molotov seen, checks the corner, does lose his life, and the AK looks for the pre next up. Sees him, but can't get the pick back.
And now for Vitality, it's just about slowing it down, allowing the CTs to continue to get aggressive, make some further info plays, think about applying some pressure aggressively into lobby. And that's where Spinx is holding from. So much time still left on the clock, and for Spirit, you start getting desperate in these sort of situations.
These kind of rounds were usually you'd force by. Maybe they are looking towards that overtime comeback. At this moment, though, these pistols need to get something, anything out of this round, even if it is a case of doing damage to later on reset Vitality in the next round. That could still be a pathway to the comeback. But right now, I'm seeing no signs of that becoming reality here for the Spirit squad. 30 seconds. Spinx could get isolated, but he's rejoining his teammates now as Chopper goes down.
And now even hearing that sound cue out towards ramp, they can start thinking about applying some pressure, force him out into the open. ZywOo takes a lot of damage down to 13, and the teaser start to put pace down to lower.
The footsteps to his front and back sides, and ZywOo catches him with his back turned. Not much he could do there. 6 seconds. The bomb plant should go down in time. However, Wonderful running away and staying alive would have been enough to bring the round in for Spirit and find the ultimate steal. But no steals today. It's formalities. Map point for Vitality.
And just to kind of go back off of that, we've had a lot of ecos over the course of first half and the second where it's been close. A lot of damage has come through. The round almost looks winnable, but it hasn't been a steal in any situation. And you got to remember, this was a 3-0 start for Spirit. They also won the pistol in the second half. So we're talking about 4 rounds gained from very early of the beginning of both the first and second half. They've only managed 2 rounds after that backed up.
Already the start has been worked up here for Vitality. And you're right about that. What was a confident start from Spirit, throwing a little bit of early doubt into the works, whether Vitality would have anything in the first half. Now turning into what was eventually a stellar CT half, and then from there on out, a single round, the pistol, and that was it for Spirit. Now Patsy's down, Chopper's low, undamaged on Vitality. This feels like it's the beginning of the end, Weg.
Chopper, even if he gets aggressive towards outside, it could just be to his demise. Dupree still here towards the top of main, waiting for a rotate to go down to that secret position. And Vitality have just been so strong with running the clock, how disciplined they've been in the mid-rounds.
Magix watching and swinging. Dupree, top of the mini, sees the feet of Magix, and Magix is unsuspectingly dead. Siren up close and personal, body blocks one, Spinks doesn't realize it till it's far too late. ZywOo, however, gets the trade on him and a teammate, so all left to one of Wonderful. AWP, 1-on-4, an impossible clutch, watched by all sorts of entities. The headshots not coming to from Vitality at the end of it. And what seemed like, again, in the early game, what was supposed to be a promising map there from Spirit.
Just a rollover, really. It did look like it.